Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, I have my lighting and I have my fan. How you doing? Today is Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. So to my fellow witches, a blessed Samhain. To those of you who are not witches, happy Halloween. And I want to talk to you, all of you in YouTubeLand, about Samhain. Because, you know, here's my thing. So I get the importance of Samhain. I do. I absolutely do. The thing that has always been an issue for me is that witches, at least the witches that I encounter in person and online, make it like it's the biggest deal. And I have an issue with that. And I know why I have an issue with that. It's not just what I just said. It's not just that so many witches and magical practitioners seem to place Samhain as more important than the other witches' holy days. That's a part of it. So I have stuff about Samhain, which is why this video is called My Stuff About Samhain. So first of all, the last time I checked, there are 8 holy days. Not 1, not 2, but 8 holy days in the witch's wheel of the year. Starting with Samhain, we have then Yule, then Imbolc, then what's commonly called Ostara, the vernal equinox, and then we have Beltane, then we have, hold on, Ostara. I think I forgot about Imbolc, but we have 8 altogether. We have 8. Not 1, not 2, we have 8. And let's keep in mind that most witches honor the full moons and the new moons. So in a calendar year, a witch has a minimum of 31 holy days, 8 Sabbats in the witch's wheel of the year, and for the most part, every calendar year from January 1st through December 31st has 12 new moons and 12 full moons. 12 plus 12 is 24, plus 8 is 32. I stand corrected. 32 witches' holy days. So that's a big deal. That is a big deal. So, and all of them have their importance. All of them have their worth. All of them deserve to be acknowledged. Now, it just so happens that with Grove Argentum, which is the Manhattan-based chapter of the International Fellowship of the Goddess Isis, we do not often do a rite for Lunasa because we focus on the Isis rededication because the guiding goddess of Grove Argentum is the goddess more commonly known as Isis. And then we really don't do anything for Yule because the priestess, who is a Cuban American woman, focuses on having a traditional Cuban dinner, which in Cuba we call Noche Buena, which literally translates as good night, because it is Christmas Eve. In Cuban culture, I'm not sure about other Hispanic cultures, but in Cuban culture, we celebrate Christmas the night before, so Christmas Eve as opposed to Christmas Day. That's when we have our feast, and those Cubans who are especially Catholic go to Catholic midnight mass. But I digress. So, you know, my thing is that Samhain has its importance, it has its value, it has its strengths, it has its merit, but it is not the only Sabbath, it is not the only witch's holy day. There are 8 witch's holy days in the witch's wheel of the year. The other reason why I have stuff about Samhain is because of Hollywood. I'll acknowledge that. And also, twice in my life, I was interviewed by 2 different women. Both of them were in college, attending a university, and they were majoring in journalism. And both times I requested that they send me a copy of what they were going to submit to their professor, and neither one of them did. And they only asked me about Samhain. And I'm like, but it's not the only holy day. And, you know, and it just irritated the hell out of me because I'm like, okay, now in the back of my mind, I get it. They're interviewing me in September. It's a new semester. But as we know, Samhain is not the only holy day to the witch. We have a witch's wheel of the year that consists of 8 holy days. Again, not 1, again, not 2, but 8. Samhain, Yule, Imbolc, Ostara, Beltane, Litha, or Midsummer if you prefer. Mabon, no, before Mabon we have Lunasa and then Mabon. So we have 8 altogether. There's a reason why we have 8. There are, I'm sure, a lot of reasons we have 8, and they all have their importance. And, you know, for the record, Grove Argentum does not usually celebrate a Beltane rite, and even Mother House of the Goddess doesn't do anything major for Beltane. But that does not mean that they are just forgotten about or ignored, you know? So they all have their merit, they all have their purpose, they all have their reason for being a part of the Witch's Wheel of the Year. And again, most witches, most magical practitioners honor the full moons and the new moons. So at a bare minimum, we have 24 plus 8, 32. We have 32 witches' holy days in a calendar year from January 1st to December 31st. Never mind if that particular witch is also honors multiple pantheons, or if they're like me, they honor the saints. Then you have a whole additional cast, or rather number, of holy days and festival dates. I mean, look at today. Today is October 31st. This is a festival date for Hecate. It is also a festival date for Ceridwen. And by the way, Ceridwen, a Welsh goddess, also shares another festival date with Hecate, and it is December 31st, or what is commonly known as New Year's Eve. And then in between October 31st and December 31st, there is another festival date for Hecate, November 13th, which, by the way, she shares with 2 other goddesses that are connected to the moon, Diana, of the ancient Roman pantheon, and Bastet, the Egyptian mother of all cats. So we have so many intersections between so many different goddesses, and they're all autumn. Well, 2 of them are autumn, 1 is winter. So we have these multiple dates that correspond to different goddesses. So again, we have this intersection, this expression, this multi-expression. We have so many different ways to practice our magic, to engage in ritual and spells, to honor the divine. You know, Dakota was they were one of the co-owners of Catland Books, more commonly known as Catland. Catland has since closed, which they announced on their social media. But I definitely remember participating in a class led by Dakota, and they said that there are rituals and spells and rites to honor the divine, but there are also transactional spells. And of course, me having so many planets and earth signs, you know, he gave the class rather a perfect example. They gave the class a perfect example. It's like, you know, this deity, want me to give you this, but what does this human need? El dinero para comprarte la cosa que tú quieres. The thing to give you the thing, to buy you the thing that you want. So, you know, and believe me, I've done it too. I remember working with somebody at different psychic fairs, and he was told by one of his deities to give them a chimaruta. A chimaruta is a sacred rue branch. It's a piece of jewelry, but it's an actual, you know, piece of sterling silver that's shaped like a branch of ruda, as we say in Spanish. And, you know, those are not cheap. So he would tell this, so my friend would tell this deity, well, you know, you want that, I need this to be able to buy that for you. And of course, this is somebody who had a job, had expenses, so it's like, okay, I need this money free and clear so that I can give you this thing, this chimaruta that you want, but I still need to be able to pay my rent and my bills so that I'm not homeless, so that I'm not unhoused, so that I have electricity and I have running water and all that other stuff. So yeah, so it's like, you know, there is an opportunity to be transactional with deity. That is, needless to say, a whole other topic for a whole other video, for a whole other day, for a whole other video. But I just want to make that clear because sometimes we need to be transactional. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I am a huge advocate for harassing the asses of saints, and especially St. Jude. I know in my heart of hearts that nothing is truly impossible, but there are things that look impossible, that seem impossible. So I will harass St. Jude's ass, and I'm like, look, I want you to do this because I don't see any other thing that I can do. I can't see anything else that I can do about this. So I am now surrendering and releasing this to you, and I'm going to harass your ass. And I have purchased 3 St. Jude candles in a row. I made it crystal clear, like, I'm not giving this up. So this is happening. This is happening. And I will not acknowledge you publicly as per the rules of venerating St. Jude unless you do provide for me. St. Anthony, I went to the nth degree. I ripped up a photograph, an image rather, of him holding baby Jesus. I'm like, you know what? I'm ripping him out of your arms. Because you are going to come through for me, bitch. You are coming through for me, and I don't care what the situation is. I know that you're not in a body anymore. I know that you are a venerated saint. So I know you can come through for me. Well, I took this beautiful image. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. Of St. Anthony holding baby Jesus in his arms. And I went, rip! I was doing a Medea from Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I ripped it. I'm like, fuck you, bitch. I am ripping this because you know what? You're coming through for me and that's it. And I will tell you, ever since then, I swear to you, ever since then, St. Anthony's like, oh, it's Robert. I don't want him to rip baby Jesus from my arms. I got to get to him fast. Yes, you do, St. Anthony. Yes, you do. I know that some of you are horrified. Some of you are like clutching your crosses like, oh, he did that? Oh my God. I can't believe that. Yes, I did. Yes, this bitch did. Because I needed St. Anthony to know that it was urgent that I find what I'm looking for because I needed it. It wasn't like, oh, I don't need that until next week. No, I needed it right that second. I could not leave my apartment at that time without that item. So I made it crystal clear, either find it for me right the hell now, or I rip baby Jesus out of your arms. I'm still waiting. Oh, you think I'm kidding? Rip! I wasn't kidding. And it was a beautiful image that I haven't found since. And it was not an online image. It was an image that was mailed to me, so you know. I'm like, So yeah, I was serious. And I'm serious about this. Samhain is not the only holy day. It is an important one. I know it's often referred to as the Witch's New Year. I get that. I get all of that. I really do. And, you know, why isn't Hollywood doing movies and TV series that feature all of the holy days? Why is it only spooky season? I can't stand spooky season. That phrase, I'd rather hear claws raking through a chalkboard. I'm serious. And now that it's October 31st, the frequency of me seeing the phrase spooky season is going to diminish massively, and I am very okay with that. I acknowledge that I have very strong likes and very strong feelings and very strong opinions. I acknowledge that I have neither the intention nor the desire to hide that. But just know, this witch wants to remind all of you in YouTubeLand that there are other holy days on the Witch's Wheel of the Year. And with that, I thank you to those of you who are practitioners of the art and craft of the wise, for your wisdom, for your path, for your sacredness. And I thank all of you in YouTube land for honoring who I am and what I do. Stay well, stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video.